What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta here in the VYPE studios on the north side of town. We're just down the street from St. Pius High School, where we have the Coach's Corner. Coach Greg Cranfill. Coach, welcome back. The season's getting cooler. The season's coming winding down. It's so crazy to even say that. But, you guys played one of the top teams in the state, if not the country, on the private school level and public school level. Just walk us through, what happened with the St. Thomas matchup. What did y'all learn? How do you implement that moving forward?
Right. So, the last couple of weeks have been pretty tough for us. But I've been proud of our football team and the way that we've handled those severe situations, if you will. I mean, you're dealing with, like I said, with Antonian and St. Thomas, two of the top ranked teams in the state. But our kids didn't back down. You asked me what I learned. I don't know if I learned so much as it just reiterated the character of this team and the culture that we've built, that no matter who we face, that we always feel like we're in the fight, and we always feel like we're going to prepare to win each week. And that kind of reiterated that to me. And, pregame, I told them, do me a favor. When you see me quit, feel free to unbuckle your chin strap and stop. Knowing darn well that we were going to fight till the end. But that's just our mentality, and that's good to be surrounded by a group of guys that are just like that. And you got to remember, we were down a couple of key positions going into that game, dealing with some injuries and that type of deal. But our kids that were asked to step up absolutely stepped up, and we made play after play. That's a good football team, and they jumped on us 21-0 and basically proved it. But coming back after halftime, it would have been real easy for us to just say, hey, they're the number one ranked team. We need to step back and just, run the clock, get this game over with, and let's get out of here. But that wasn't the tone that we set coming out of the locker room. It was one of keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. And that's what we did. We battled back and got it down 35-21. And we actually had an onside kick at 35-21. Once it got into two scores, we were going to onside kick and try to steal a possession from them. But St. Thomas did a great job covering the onside kick, and then ended up going down and scoring after that to make it 42-21. But like I said, all we ask our kids is give us a chance to win in the fourth quarter. And for me, 35-21, sitting right there, knowing that we get an onside kick and it becomes, it's a two-possession game. Get a strike right there and then become a one-possession game, and who knows what happens after that, But like I said, St. Thomas made the plays they needed to early in the game, in the middle of the game, and then down the stretch. But it wasn't because we gave it to them. They had to earn it, and I think that's what they would tell you that they feel coming out of the game. Just knowing that you're surrounded by coaches and kids that like I said before, that always believe that we're in the fight. That's a good feeling right before you lay your head on the pillow at night, and that's the way we do it here every night. So,
talk about some of the guys that stood out to you in that game.
Right. So we kind of implemented a 2-quarterback system right now, and I know a lot of people say if you have 2 quarterbacks, then you have 0 quarterbacks, but I don't feel like that's the case at all, because I think both of them have raised the level of playing for each of them, and they both bring so many great things to the table. That's Andrew Kirkland as a freshman and Braxton Pius as a junior. Braxton back-to-back has had 2 pretty good weeks, and we feel like Andrew has raised his game each week going into each week that he's gotten more and more reps. I don't think that either one of them have shied away from the competitiveness of knowing what their expectation is. But I also think that's because, our quarterback coach, Pat Burns, has done a great job with them, being very transparent and going, this is what we think we need to do in order to have the best chance to win. And both of those guys at that quarterback position have, they basically, agreed to do whatever they can to help this football team. And it's a good feeling. Josh Mitchell, again, another great performance, but I think that has a lot to do with what's going on up front with our offensive line. And then the skill guys that we have on the outside. We're starting to play a little bit better and more consistently offensively. And then defensively, we've got guys that are flying around. And that's where we got hurt last week. We had 3 starters that were out. And St. Thomas, they've got great coaches. They've got great players. When they find that, they're going to go after that. And you could see, kind of watching video on Saturday, that was the case. But like I said, the guys that we put in there didn't flinch, didn't back down, and so we were proud of them as well. For us, a lot of what we do starts in the middle with Jake Lozano, our linebacker. So we're proud of what he's been able to do. And then Nick Woods is an outside linebacker. Both have been consistent. And then our 2 safeties, Cameron Brown and Alex Yearwood, and then Ethan McMahon is on the corner, has been pretty solid all the way through. Jackson Rogers kind of got his shoulder banged up in the Antonian game. He's been dealing with a lot of pain the whole year, but you couldn't tell because he's not a guy to make a big deal out of it. But it popped out the Antonian game. He was not cleared this past week. So we're looking to get him back this week. So a lot of guys that are just battling. Coach Vance Singletary does a great job with our defensive line. We got Joe Guzman back from injury, Jordan Lucia, and then Nate Alvarez. We took CJ Fowler, who's been playing defensive line, had to move him back to an inside linebacker. And felt like he sat there and battled the whole game, and was very proud of what he did. But what Coach Singletary and Coach Nixon do to that front 7 that we have, I've been very, very happy with. So kudos to them. I feel like they're getting the most out of those kids, and we feel like we're hitting stride right when we need to, right at the end of the season.
All right, let's talk about upcoming season and upcoming games and how we wrap this thing up.
Yeah, man. Got Central Catholic here, senior night at our place. And through the season, we played a heck of a lot better at home than we have on the road. So, our pregame and planning is exactly the same. We do exactly the same thing at home that we do on the road. So it's not anything that we feel like it's that. When you look back, we just played some pretty tough teams on the road this year. So we're gonna come out with the mindset of last home game for those seniors, and we're going to do whatever we can to send them out on top. Central Catholic is a great football team. They're well coached. They've got good guys, good players on both sides of the football that are a true test. Don't let their records fool you because they've been playing some pretty tough opponents as well. So we've got our hands full this week, but we're excited about the opportunity and about the challenge that's in front of us.
Senior night is super cool for a program. And then I also like, tell me about how it's going on the junior varsity level and how, you're backfilling these guys as well.
Yeah. And, my son, Brady, who's in 8th grade, is really concerned about what's going on with that JV, because the potential of him playing with them, JV started out hot this year. But because of the struggles that we had with injuries, we've had to start handpick some of those JV guys and put them into the starting lineup, which basically has the continuity that JV had early didn't continue. But we started picking it back up throughout the end of the year. I told them at the end of the year, there are 4 freshmen that are starting for us on varsity right now. 4. And I said, if all 4 of those were down here, the JV record would have been different. But when you look back through a telescopic view, it's better for the program that it happens this way so that we can develop 4 more guys down at that JV that would not have gotten reps because they would have been the backups to those guys that are now sitting on varsity. So records, they're important. Don't get me wrong on that JV level, but for us, it's completely about a developmental side. And we look at our JV football a lot like, minor league baseball, in the fact that they're down getting at bats and taking ground balls and doing all the stuff that they need to. And when we need them, we're going to call them up. And we've had to do that throughout the course of the year. And like I said, both groups have responded well. The freshmen that we have moved up have responded well and have played to the level that we needed to. That's why we brought them up. And then the guys that were able to step in and get those reps at that JV level, we feel like have done a great job there too. You look at quarterback position. When we take Andrew Kirkland from that JV and move him up, Isaiah Marone is able to step in and get important reps at the JV level. So his development has increased because of the fact of what has happened throughout the course of the program. I maybe that's a glass half full look at it all the time, but that's the way we look at it. Would we rather have those freshmen been down playing? Yeah, but you've got to have guys that are better than them on that varsity, or you're disservicing those upperclassmen and those seniors to say this is not the best team that we could put out on the field. I think every Saturday and Sunday that the coaches meet, that's the number one thing that we talk about is personnel. Do we have the right butts in the seat, so to speak? Do we have the right people playing all the way down to every special team that we have? We look at it and say, is this the best 11 that we can put on the field? And if not, what do we need to do? And I've been proud of our coaches because of that,
There's so much that goes into roster management and kids, and if they're ready for the big, Friday night lights, and if they're not, but hey, there's so much that goes into it. All right, let's go get us a win this weekend. It's night, and we'll see how this plays out. We'll catch up next week.
Go Panthers.